Hello students, friends and non-students. Welcome to the fourth video, or the final segment of Taking It to the Course. Now, in the first three, we talked about why it's difficult to take my golf swing to the golf course, number one. Number two is, what's the difference between a ritual, which we should have, which we do have, as opposed to routine? What's the symbol significance here? How do we build our brain around this symbol so that when we go to the golf course, we're more focused in, as opposed to maybe scatterbrained, trying to drive all these demons outside of our head? Well, here's how we do it. This is the best secret I can give you right now. You've waited long enough. The bridge between playing and practice. Here are the 4 steps. First, we're going to see it. What's see it mean? See it means observation. This is not awareness. This is not focus. I look out, and I'm going to use number 1 at Cumberland Country Club as an example. Those of you that haven't played there, I apologize, but this is a great hole to start. I observe that the golf hole's 230 yards long, a par 3. I got on the right-hand side, I have a slope. On the left-hand side of another slope, I have a bunker over here. The green slopes severely right to left. So I'm just observing. And what I like to do is divide a golf green into quadrants. And when I look at that, I'm looking at observation. I'm trying to make that kind of zero in on framing in the golf hole. So now that I've got through my observation, I kind of have an idea in my head. The next thing is I have to think. Now this is the most steps of it all, and this is where everybody probably gets a little confused, but I'll try to do my best. Do not, under any circumstances, jump up and look out the distance right away. Because you haven't looked, what type of lie do I have? Is it in the rough? Is it in the fairway? Is it on hard pan? Is it sitting up? I mean, without that knowledge, what about the wind? So the first thing you look at, so I said, what about, is it into the face, on downwind, am I crosswind? What about the conditions for the day? Is it sunny? Is it hot? Is it wet? Is it cold? And then I get the distance. So once I have the distance, now I'll give an example too of Cumberland. Number 7, great example. I'm 150 yards out. With the slope, I'm 162 yards out. A lot of times I'm doing a playing lesson with a student, and they're at the white little marker, and they go to number 7, they're automatically pulling out, you guessed it, their 150 club. And I don't say anything, and they hit it right into the hill. Because it's actually 162 to 165 yards because of the uphill. That's not calculated. So those are the things we have to look at. Finally, know your club distances, because ball striking is a key. And for me, how well am I hitting it that day? Some days I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm not thinking about how hard to hit it. It just kind of goes. So now the final thing I do, I've checked the lie, I've checked the wind, I've checked the conditions, I've got the distance. I'm a pretty good ball striker today. What do I do now? That's right, I choose my club. I choose the club. Now, once I make the club choice, here's where things start to happen. And I'm going to move over this way and just try to give you a little idea of what I do before I hit the golf ball here. So now I'm going to do a little bit of visualization. I'm going to stand here and look out, and I'm going to pick out a target. And what I do when I pick that target out, once I have it, I draw an imaginary line between my golf ball and the target. And I'll try to pick up something out in front of me that I can use to line the face of my club up. Now let me give you a little side story. I always have a story. But playing alongside one of the all-time greats one time, I watched him keep throwing grass up like this. And I was trying to figure out what he might be doing. And I'm standing there watching, and the caddy I had, this was Oakmont, by the way, we were playing Oakmont. And then the caddy looks at me and goes, I'll tell you afterwards. He was throwing grass up in order for a blade of grass to land somewhere near so he would have an intermediate target. Completely legal, but now I said, you know what? that makes a lot of sense because Oakmont is so finely and pristine, it was hard to find a spot on this hole. Happened to be the 10th hole. It's the par 4 down the hill. So that gave me some thoughts that I've got to narrow my focus in a little bit more by feeling it, by getting in right like this. And then I would do something like this. I've got to feel, so I'm coming up here, I'm going to step up. I'm going to feel the swing. And right now, the only thought I have in my head is swinging around my spine. So I'm trying to paint the shot on the canvas of the golfing sky. And finally, I get up, I'm ready to go. And those of you who have taken a lesson from me, there's the 4 H's. This is when they come in. Hands, heels, hips, and hinge. That's the 4 H's. I go over these 4 H's before I pull the trigger. And finally, the last one is, of course, we do it. We pull the trigger. So once I go through that ritual, and I don't know if you, by the way, did anybody hear there was a phone going off in the background? I got interrupted. So guess what? I have to start again. So I go through my observation. I go through my thought process. I look. I got that. I get my feeling. I get the setup over the ball. I set up, hands, heels, hips. Then I hit hinge. And I hit. No thought process. I went through everything I needed to do to get that not too bad, maybe a little bit to the right, but I hit it pretty far. Hey, not bad. I hope this helped all of us learn how to take the practice to the golf course, how to build the bridge. We build the bridge with a ritual, not a routine. We build a bridge by observation, by thinking, by feeling, by doing, and finally, having something we can hang our, let's call it our hat on, or our thinking cap, so that when we take it to the golf course, we always have a friend getting us out of those demons and getting us back to playing our best game of golf.